So this problem is also an inequality. So we'll do it similar to the last one, number 29. So our first step would be to isolate the absolute value. So you divide by 3 on both sides, cancels that out. And you are left with absolute value of 2x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 7. So now, since it's an absolute value and you can have more than one solution, you write 2x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 7, and 2x minus 1 is less than or equal to negative 7. Because remember, we flip the signs when we're working with negatives. So now we just solve for x. 2x is greater than or equal to 8. X is greater than or equal to 4. And over here, 2x is less than or equal to negative 6. X is less than or equal to negative 3. So those are your two solutions for that one. Put an or. We'll use the word or. So let's scroll up a little bit. Now, so of course, since it's an inequality, we also have to write it in set notation, interval notation, and then graph it. So we'll start by graphing. Draw a line. And then, so we have negative 3 and 4. So now it tells us that, let's go with the first one. It says our number has to be greater than, let's draw the circles. And we also shade in the circles because it's equal to as well. So the first one says x must be greater than or equal to 4. So if it's greater than 4, it goes this way on the number line. And the next one says x has to be less than or equal to negative 3. So if it's less than negative 3, it goes this way on the number line. So really, they're going completely opposite ways. So when we write it in set notation, we would write, change color here. Set notation would be braces x. X is the element of, and then we'd write that out, and then we would write x is greater than or equal to 4, or x is less than or equal to negative 3. And the reason we have or is because really you can't have a number that's both greater than 4 and less than negative 3. It's impossible. So you can only have one or the other. And that's one of the main differences between this problem and the one we did before, where you could have one number that could work for both equations. So for this one though, so now we already graphed this, now I read in interval notation. We would write x is the element of, and since they're both closed circles, you need a bracket. Actually, I'm sorry. How do I undo here? Let me erase that. Here, let me try to explain this. Since your numbers are going opposite ways on the number line, you have to write an infinity. So I have negative infinity, negative 3. Negative 3 will be bracketed, and negative infinity can parentheses because you can never have a bracket on parentheses. Never have a bracket on infinity. U, and then bracket 4, comma, positive infinity. Parentheses, because once again, you can also never have a bracket on infinity. And that's how you write internal notation for this problem, and that would be your answer.